Welcome to this channel depending on your time zone. And I want to say thank you very much for over 3,300 subscribers. Guys, deep from my heart, you are the people that are making me wake up every morning to do this content. I'm thinking about something. I did a video on 5 blunders that Raila Odinga is doing in his way to presidency. But then I ask myself, as a presidential candidate, he also has a competitor in the name of William Ruto. And lately, I have been following William Ruto's campaigns and some of the messaging that he's doing and strategies. Then, guys, what do you think is William Ruto's game plan to make sure that he subdues Raila's presidency? But just before that, I want to pick a feedback that I captured from Bernard Adewa yesterday, and I just want to share it with you. That when it comes to election in Kenya, I think Kenyans don't elect leaders based on their manifestos, but the emotional appeal. I think I've also mentioned the difference between emotional and the rational appeal. The UDA team seems to be running away with emotional appeal when all of them are coming out to talk about this obsession on how they were betrayed by both Raila and Uhuru Kenyatta. And that spirited anger against Uhuru Kenyatta by Mudavadi and also Ruto are designed strategically to sweep emotions on their favor. So that is something that I picked from Bernard Adewa. But now, just before that, I want us to look at some of 8 obstacles that William Ruto's team is erecting on Raila Odinga's side to make sure that they defeat him in 2022 August elections. So what I don't know is whether these strategies are going to work. And I want us to look at them, each one of them strategically. Then if you're new to this channel and you're watching this video for the first time, I'm humbly requesting you to subscribe to this channel and also click the notification bell. Very important. Whenever I publish a video, you'll be getting notifications. And most importantly, get to our comment section and also tell us something about some of the things that you see in the political space. I also want to ask a question that one of our subscribers asked. What is your opinion on Wamatangi, the Kiambu senator, who seems he's not in any camp? He doesn't seem to be in William Ruto's side. He doesn't seem to be in Raila Odinga's side and sits at the fence. When you see him appearing in interviews in Citizen, he looks like he's a fence player. What do you think about Wamatangi? Now, one of the strategies that William Ruto is, one of the obstacles that William Ruto is erecting on Raila Odinga's side is the tag state project. And they are really playing this politics in reference to the 2002 general election, when Moi also fronted the young Uhuru Kenyatta and they termed Uhuru Kenyatta as a state project. So by that time, that's when they walked away and formed the NARC coalition, and they endorsed Mwai Kibaki for presidency, the famous Kibaki Tosha. But I was asking myself a question. You know, the voters of 2022, the young voters now, they are the ones who are now, it is for the first time they are understanding this term state project. And no one understands what state project is. So let me ask you, do you think Raila, according to them, should not be voted in because he is being supported by President Uhuru Kenyatta? And President Uhuru Kenyatta's support to Raila Odinga is what makes Raila Odinga be a state project. Then my question is, what is the evidence that a state project cannot make a good president? Because since independence, we've never had one. We've never had one. Or are we just trying to use an example of an election that someone lost to try to brandish Raila as also a loser? And I asked in my Twitter handle, guys, do you think Raila Odinga should be judged on his competence and manifesto and the determination to lead the country, or he should be judged on who is supporting him? I need to ask yourself that question, because I think the UDA team, are running away with a narrative that it is just a bare emotional appeal. But for me, it's even lacking the tangible reasons why Raila Odinga should not be voted in. But the truth of the matter is, Raila is going to fight around this. What they are doing with this project, the state project tag, is they want to show that Raila is being supported by this government, and this government have its own failures. So if Raila Odinga is elected, then he's also going to inherit these failures. I think that's what is here. As to what Raila is going to do to counter this narrative is what I'm honestly waiting to see. Now, the second obstacle that William Ruto is putting in Raila Odinga's, is erecting in Raila Odinga's way, is demonizing him in central Kenya to perpetuate the Raila phobia. So, if you listen to Rigathi Gachagua, he is still in the school of thought that still calls Raila mganga. He still calls Raila mtu atatunyang'anya shamba. He still calls Raila those bad names. Then I'm like, some of the reasons why Uhuru and Raila had the handshake was to make sure that they undo those traditional stereotypes. Now, William Ruto team, and specifically, they are using Rigathi Gachagua, Ndindi Nyoro, and Kimani Ichung'wah. When they rise in the podium, what they say about Raila Odinga is not what Raila Odinga has not done for this country, despite the fact that he's been in politics for long, but they go and tell Central Kenya people how Raila should not lead. I think somewhere, one of the rallies, it was in Eldoret rally, Rigathi Gachagua went to an extent of telling the audience that Raila sleeps during the rally. And I ask myself, guys, that is, maybe Raila is sick. How do you use someone's health even to demonize? You understand? So what they are doing, they are already perpetuating the Raila phobia, because this has been the script in central Kenya for better part of 20th century, trying to say all bad things are all around Raila Odinga to make sure that they rise to power. So guys, that is also one thing that Raila Odinga is doing. And for me, if you ask me, what Raila can do to counter that is, instead of putting on the shoes and climbing the mountain, I want to agree with a columnist, I think I read yesterday, I think it is Magesha Ngwiri, in Nation, who said that instead of climbing the mountain, let Raila come down and go to the grassroots. Because the elite Kikuyu perhaps in Nairobi and the big towns in Thika might support Raila Odinga. But now, some of the small villages, it is high time that instead of going to the big towns, instead of going to Nyeri town, instead of going to Murang'a town, let him go to the communities and let the leaders there go to the grassroots, sit down with these old people, let them go to the chief barazas so that they can undo this, because this is one thing that William Ruto team is erecting to make sure that Raila Odinga doesn't ascend to power. And you cannot blame it for that, because that is part of what they know. Thirdly, another erection on Raila Odinga's way is making sure that Kalonzo Musyoka does not work with the Azimio la Umoja, either supports them or goes to the ballot alone. I have to mention a well-scripted political strategy. They are using Jimmy Wanjigi to support Kalonzo Musyoka. This is a script between William Ruto and Jimmy Wanjigi. Support Kalonzo Musyoka. Let Kalonzo Musyoka go to the ballot and take the Ukambani vote, or rather divide the Ukambani vote. Then in the event that Raila Odinga does not get the 50 plus 1%, then we go for a rerun and Kalonzo supports us. That is, so Kalonzo is a project of William Ruto to make sure that Raila Odinga does not ascend to power. That is one thing. Then secondly, that a bid to dismantle, or rather want to say attempt to dismantle the Western Kenya bloc by making sure that you take Mudavadi. This is what I think. If Mudavadi is feeling that the members of ANC party are leaving the party to join Raila because they are paid, then can the same people also argue that he left One Kenya Alliance to join William Ruto because he was paid? I want you to think of it. Because they were paid. There is also a second point that Mudavadi is bringing on board, that he's ready and he has the democratic right and freedom of association to choose his friends. And his friends are William Ruto. So why doesn't he also give the same ANC members the freedom of association to choose their friends? The way they are saying that, members, Kalonzo Musyoka's friends perhaps may not be his friends. The same way his friends might not be the friends of the ANC members who are joining William Ruto. The fact that he's a friend to William Ruto does not make Tindi Mwale a friend to William Ruto. So I also think that these MPs are choosing their own friends. And that is why perhaps they are joining that DAPK party. And did that bid to dismantle Western Kenya succeed? I want to say this here. If William Ruto is not giving running mate position to Musalia Mudavadi in that alliance, then I can tell you he is underutilizing that man, and that bid to dismantle Western Kenya is not going to succeed. Because what I know, that is the perceptional value. What are we bringing on board? What are we bringing on board? Then the fact that he also crossed over, these members are also crossing over. As to whether they're being paid or no, I think this narrative of Raila Odinga is paying these people. Guys, we are 6 months to general election. Who is going to splash 20 million to an area MCA? Honestly. Who is going to splash 20 million to an MCA? What is the salary of an MCA? And what is the influence of an MCA? If you can buy, if you tell me they bought governors, makes sense. But now MCA controls some 10,000 people within a village, within a ward. I totally agree. But then it is something that William Ruto is putting. I don't know whether it will succeed. Now, another obstacle on Raila Odinga's way that they are putting is to make sure that they brand Raila a perennial loser. Now, when they move to stage and they are talking about Raila Odinga's last presidential bid and branding Raila Odinga loser, what this is going to do, they are going to make sure that Raila Odinga's supporters are fatigued and lost the little hope they have. Now, when they lose hope and they are fatigued, they may not care. And of course, their script here is to make sure that the turnout is low, even from registration and even the voting day. If they already show themselves as the winning, something I have to give UDA and Kenya Kwanza team is these guys are mobilizers. And they are the perfectionists in playing the politics of perception, the perceptions of crowd. That is something that is there. So it is something that if you look at it critically, they want Raila Odinga's supporters not even to turn up and not even to support him by feeling that he's been losing for the last 5 general elections that he has attended, 4 general elections, and of course even this one, he is deemed to lose. So that is really there. Now, lastly, another thing that I see is also on Raila Odinga's way is this issue of William Ruto is playing a politics to replace President Uhuru Kenyatta as Central Kenya kingpin. And, if you look at what they're doing, what he really wants, and the reason why he's doing this is very easy. When he picks a running mate, he's going to pick a running mate in the name of Rigathi Gachagua or Alice Wahome. You cannot compare the stature of this Rigathi Gachagua to Martha Karua. Because if you pick Martha Karua as your running mate or Peter Kenneth, Martha Karua has a community a community at hand. You understand? This is something that he is already playing. Martha Karua is in the stature of a national leader. But if you just pick someone like Rigathi Gachagua, he is more popular. He wants to be more popular in that place than Rigathi Gachagua. And so in the name that if replaces President Uhuru Kenyatta, and Uhuru Kenyatta doesn't take charge of the mountain, then he has kicked out Uhuru. He is dictating what is happening. So whatever Uhuru says, Uhuru's direction in central Kenya might not count. And that is why you are seeing that now when he was in central Kenya, he is now addressing Uhuru one-on-one. He's telling Uhuru that you did this, you are doing this, this will not work. You are doing that, this will not work. He wants to take charge. And what Uhuru must always do, and this is what I want to say, if someone is listening to Uhuru, and I think in the next few weeks, you will see Uhuru Kenyatta walking to Jubilee Headquarters. The first thing he needs to do, he needs to go to Jubilee Headquarters and take charge. Let him go there and take the photos for the optics, for photos with the party first, and revamp that, you know what, I'm in charge of this party. You can also get to us and tell us, what are you seeing in the political space that maybe the UDA team are putting to make sure that they block Raila Odinga's win? And we are not blaming them for this, because this is politics. It is upon Raila Odinga's side also to design tools and strategies to counter these issues or these other plans that are erected by Musalia and Ruto.